Hi, I'm Amanda and I'm a professional hairstylist, so I chose to talk about proteins and protein denaturation in relation to hair and hairstyling. So hair is made up of proteins, and proteins are made up of monomers of amino acids that form a super long peptide chain to form polymers. And there are different ways that proteins are structured, but today we're going to focus on the secondary structure, which is the alpha helix. So the alpha helix structure is how the amino acids are formed together and arranged to make up a polypeptide chain, and the alpha structure is shaped like a coil. So it's like this. And so these amino acids don't automatically just stick together. They're not just like, oh, we're gonna form up here. They need something to stick them together. They need an intermolecular force. And in this case, hydrogen bonding is what is holding them together to create this coiled shape. And so for hydrogen bonding, you need hydrogen and oxygen to bond together. And in this case, we get our hydrogen from the amide group, which is the nitrogen, hydrogen. We get our oxygen from the carbonyl group, which is carbon double bonded to an oxygen. So if we place those in our structure, put our amide group here, carbonyl group here, our oxygen and our hydrogen are close enough together. And this is important. So in hydrogen bonding, the oxygen and hydrogen only bond together if they are close enough. So they are close enough, so they are bonded together. And this is all throughout this structure here. So there's a ton of hydrogen bonds happening. It's all over. And that is what creates the alpha helix. Okay, so I'm getting to how this relates to hairstyling in a moment. But first I need to talk about how this alpha helix, how this protein loses its shape. And that is something called denaturing of a protein. That is when a protein just loses its shape. So it's no longer this coil and it's just lost its shape. So that's just what it looks like now. And so there are many ways that a protein can go through denaturation, and one of them is heat, and that's what we're going to be focusing on. So, you know, as heat rises, or as temperature rises and goes up, the speed or the motion of a protein also goes up. And actually, we'll pull this one out here. So heat goes up, speed goes up. And so what that means for the proteins is this. So we have our hydrogen and our oxygen, and they are bonded together, right? So they're bonded together because they are close together. But now let's say we've added heat to this. So now the protein, since it's been heated, the speed has increased. So the protein is shaking, right? And since it's shaking, it can't bond to this hydrogen because it's moving all over the place. They can't get close enough together. So that is breaking the hydrogen bond. And this is happening all over, right? All of these hydrogen bonds are being broken in your alpha helix. So when you apply heat to your hair, let's say you straighten it, you're heating it and you're causing the protein in it to lose its shape because the hydrogen bonds are being broken. But this also applies to blow drying your hair or curling it. It's just taking the shape of either the round brush or the curling iron. And so I have a model here, Cora, who has human hair. And so we're gonna denature her proteins. And so I have this curling iron and it's 350 degrees. So I'm gonna take a section over here and curl it. Remember, as temperature increases, so the temperature of Cora's hair is increasing, the proteins, they're increasing. The speed of the protein is now increasing. So all those proteins are shaking and the oxygen and hydrogen can't bond together. And so now this protein has taken the shape of the curling iron. The trick is you can just hold it there and let it cool, because as it cools, it'll hold on to that shape. Yeah, we have denatured a protein. So this is a temporary physical change, right? There's no chemical reaction happening. This didn't become something else. This is still hair. So yes, no chemical reaction. If you want chemical reactions with like hair color and all that, you focus on disulfide bonds. But today we're just doing temporary physical changes.
So you can create a permanent physical change if you burn your hair off. So don't leave the curling iron on there for too long. Don't do that. It'll definitely separate. And it'll still be hair. It just won't be connected.
So yeah, don't do that. And so this can actually be reversed. So let's go back to this. This can be reversed and the hair can go back to its original texture, its original state by, again, breaking the hydrogen bond. So this time, instead of using heat though, we're going to be using water. So let's say this is bonded again, right? The hair is cooled, it's bonded, but we're going to break this again by adding water. And so water, it wants to hydrogen bond. It wants to hydrogen bond really badly, and it wants to get into this hydrophilic region that loves water, right? So it's going to squeeze itself in there, and it's going to break that bond. It's going to interrupt that because it wants to bond. The water, the hydrogen from the water wants to bond, and so that's breaking it all up. And so if you want to see this in action, bring Cora out again. So here she is with her lovely curl, and now she's like, oh, I want my hair to go back to its original texture. No problem, we're just gonna spray it down. Right, so like when you shampoo your hair or you get it wet, or even when you style your hair all beautifully and you go out on a rainy day or a humid day and your hair gets all frizzy, that is because of your hydrogen bonds. And so our hair's gone back to normal. So yeah, hydrogen bonds you can thank for hairstyling, but also frizzy hair. Yeah, that's it.